My name is Angie. I'm an actress, writer, director, comedian, producer, mother, grandmother, and my profession is that. That's what I do.
I can't sing.
Well, I started my career in comedy.
Oh, that was a bit of a short intro. The thing is, believe it or not, I had the intro already. Yeah. Put it in the wrong place. Couldn't remember where I put it in it. Anyway, I'm here spreading the love, as you can see. Spreading the love. Glad to see that you guys have come in, you early birds. How are you doing? Who have I got in here as an early bird? Claire? How you doing, Claire? Thanks for popping in, Claire. Nice to see you popped in to come in and say, mate. I'm quite excited, actually, as you can imagine. I am extremely excited at the moment because it's gonna be where I'm gonna be talking to a comedy legend. I mean, when you're a legend in your own lifetime, that must be difficult, isn't it? Because you know that everybody's watching you. Everybody's watching your every move, every little word that you're saying. And yeah, I'm gonna be talking to a comedy legend. But I don't want to rush it. I got to take my time, innit? I got to take my time. Phil, how you doing, young lady? Are you good? Are you well? Seated there, all rearing to go, so to speak. Well, I've had a busy day, getting myself together, licking my wounds as well over the weekend because Liverpool didn't do what they were supposed to do, as you know. Yeah, babe, I'm glad to hear that you're good. Alfia's in the room. Good. I've got Astrid as well. Good. Hello, R&B crew. Looking forward to tonight. Aren't we all? Just waiting for some people to come in. They'll start coming in a bit as they start getting their notifications. They'll start popping through. So we'll give them a chance to get in. All right. So it's International Women's Week. What does that mean to you, ladies? International Women's Week. Does that mean you get your own way again? Does that mean you're meant to be spoiled again? Is that what that means? International Women's. Well, they say international. It's actually International Women's Day, right? But I've decided to spread it over the entire week because we don't want a day. I'm sorry, a day is not enough. Yeah, if you're gonna do it, you might as well go the whole hog. Give everybody a week, as far as I'm concerned. What you can give them just a day for? So people are starting coming in, which is good. Come in, make yourselves comfy, make yourself comfy. Let me know that you're here, right? Don't just come in and just sit down there and stare at the plate at me. Yeah, let me know that you're there. All right. Happy International Women's Day to all the fabulous ladies. Blessings, love, and bug up. Felicia Morgan says, good evening, young lady. Yes, Antigua Allison. Yes, spoil us every day. I do agree with that. Women should be spoiled every day. But then so should us men. We need a day too. Evening, Rudy. Good evening. Goes out to Juicy Jules. What? Hold on. This sounds like, do you men want to give birth? Can't even handle man flu. No. God knew what he was doing when he said that you can give birth. He knew exactly what he was doing. He said, you carry that. Yeah. And he gave us ears. I don't know why he gave us ears, because then we could hear why you lot was moaning when you was carrying the child. But, you know, hormones. Yes, we really need a month. But you know we settle. Yeah, I know. You do. But the thing is, women ain't settling anymore. Have you noticed that? You don't settle anymore. You don't settle for anything anymore. You're out there. You're out there reaching and grabbing. Eh? Out there reaching and grabbing. Hey, autocorrect. Wait, hold on. Did you spell something incorrectly? I didn't notice. Trust me, I didn't notice. Good evening, Jackie. Nice to see you got up. You got up out of the bed, girl, to watch the show. Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, Kaz. Not tomorrow. What am I saying? Saturday. Yes, that'd be good. Evening all. Give me time, the man. Bless up, Queen in the house. Arud's Wagwan. Blessings for International Women's Day to all wonderful women. This is why we get celebrated more, is it? Because you celebrate each other. Is that what you're saying? Okay, cool. Right. Let's get into this. All right. Let all the latecomers be late. Let everybody else who's going to catch it on catch up. They'll have to catch it on catch up, as I'm sure they will. Bug up. Okay. Right. I'm happy to move on now. All right. Because I'm sure that a lot of people are going to catch it on the rebound. I think that's the beauty of being able to control your own TV and what you want to watch. You know, you watch it when it pleases you, which is good. Which is good. I like life like that. I like it. I like life on my terms, to be honest with you. But ladies and gentlemen, I know you're here for a reason, and the reason is because we're all here to meet the comedy queen, and she is here, and she is ready to go. So you know me, how I like to introduce my guests with a small collage before we get talking. So please sit back for the next 28 seconds or so as we see the wonderful Miss Angie Lamar. That's quite a stern face. Yeah, we are getting a bit of feedback, unfortunately. It might be. Have you got any earphones just at hand?
I can get some.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea because I can hear it now because it's not just not bouncing back on me. You know, Angie, the queen of comedy. Look at that; it's already coming in. Queen of. You call her a queen for? You call her.
Be nice, be nice.
Okay, I'm gonna be. Listen. I know. I can banter with you, yeah, but I don't expect to win.
Yes, I'll let you win today. It's International Women's Day. I'll let you win.
Is it? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You know what I really wanted to know? Where does Lamar come from?
Lamar. Well,
yeah.
My name is Angela Leonie Martin, so it's Angie Lamar. It's a breakdown of my name.
Okay, because you know what I used to sing. I used to sing Angie Lamar.
Okay.
Angie Lamar. I didn't. It was no LE. It weren't no LE for me. It was always Lamar. So I thought that there was some French in there or something like that, or that you because I didn't know.
It's just Lamar because my name's Leonie and Martin, so Lamar. My marriage name is Prosper.
Your marriage name is Prosper. Whoa.
Yeah.
Prosper. That's a nice name, you know.
Yeah. Husband's Dominican.
Dominican. Oh God, I like Dominica.
Dominica. I love Dominica.
Dominica is one of the only islands, right, that is literally untouched.
Oh,
literally.
And the rivers. It's just fresh, man. It's just beautiful.
Because I went zip wiring in Dominica. I did zip wiring.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was supposed to do that. I didn't do it. But...
Yeah, went zip wiring in there. 7 o'clock in the morning. Them lot still playing. Them lot playing music, sitting outside, because I arrived on the cruise ship.
Oh, okay. Okay, y'all.
No, darling. It was all work. It was all work. It was all work. If you saw my cabin, I had a porthole. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't have the whole balcony thing that's going on. You know what I mean? There were times when I was. in the beginning, when they would have you in the middle of the ship where there are no lights whatsoever. Do you know what I mean?
It's still a cruise, though. It's still a cruise, no matter how you try to make it not sound like it.
No, man, don't listen, because you know there's the less fortunate in the room, isn't it, Liz?
Rude.
Liz and Carol, Kaz is always traveling. She's one of the Rants and Bants crew. I've had an amazing day. Hope all you queens too, because we are really majestic. See, you lot women are all bigging yourselves up.
Because it's our day. It's our day.
But you've always been championing women, though, haven't you, Angie?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. That's what it's about. That's how we grew up. You know, we were always for each other, just making sure that we had each other's back. That's just the time that we grew up in. You know, it was a great time. It's just a natural thing. We didn't have to kind of like go, oh, guys, we need to come together. We just naturally were there for each other, and that's something that I've always made sure that I've done with the next generation. Just go, come forward, come through. So yeah, definitely.
Because the thing is that I'm interested to know. Did you ever do the brownies or anything like that?
No, I wanted to go brownies, but my mum wouldn't let me.
She wouldn't let you.
She wouldn't let me. She was like, "You have things at home to do. You got time to dress up in brown clothes to go walk up and down and you know."
Oh no!
All my friends went, but I wasn't allowed to go.
So what, did you spend more time in church, or did you spend more time I mean, what was your leisure time? What was your leisure time like, 15, 17?
Okay. Definitely going to drama club. I was about 11, I started drama clubs, and that was it for me. That was because I was raised in the church. So my now was really drama clubs. That's the only way my parents would go, okay, she's going to act, she's going to do that, that's okay. So for me, drama clubs, anything to do with the theatre. Albany Empire was kind of like where I started, second wave, and that was life for me. Lucian Youth Drama Group.
Okay.
From I was in my about 11, 12.
Okay, because I didn't realise that quite a few of you guys met up along that path, innit, of the drama school and the drama and stuff, because here you are with look who's at the back there. Look who's at the back.
Kwame Kweyama, Ellen Thomas, JB Rose,
Whitfield,
Jefferson and Whitfield,
Emil's there.
Yeah, and Peggy Bennett Hume, Marie Berry. Yeah.
Because I didn't know, I honestly did not know that you lot were that tight from way back when.
Oh, right, yeah, because we kind of like, I knew Emil from the church. Emil grew up in the church as well.
Yeah.
So I knew him from the church circuit, and so let me just put these on. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I knew Emil from the church circuit, and Bamaro Sisters, we used to write and direct our own plays from we were in our early teens. And Ellen Thomas, because we went to Afro Sax Drama School. So Afro Larrington Walker, Ellen Thomas.
I was going to bring up that name, by the way, Larrington.
Yeah. Man. Peace. Larrington.
Because I met Larrington when, the first time I seriously spoke to Larrington was when we was filming up in Birmingham with, what's his name, man? Dane Baptiste.
Yes,
that's right. And that's when he told me the story about you guys, how you lot used to all come down. Yeah.
In his front room, his front room. Larrington Walker, he used to move his sofas back, and we used to do drama in his front room, about 20 of us.
Right. Because it was like, I didn't know that he is almost like he was like the godfather in a sense. He was like, he kind of pulled you guys all together. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
he was definitely, he wanted us to know the business. He wanted us to know how it works, and he wanted us to know the rules so that we kind of weren't left out there, because we couldn't afford to go to drama school. We couldn't afford to go to those places. So those professional actors, came together to say, this is what we've learned and we're going to hand it over to you. But we're going to do it seriously. I mean, you couldn't mess around with those guys. Larrington Walker didn't take no prisoners. It was like real discipline. And I would say that's one of the best times of my life thus far, because it was just the journey and being around people that you admire who were so willing to share with you. That was just a good time.
Okay, because I had none of that. I was like basically just from the age of about 28 turning into, oh, you look like this character, Murphy, and then just basically jumping into it, right? Yeah. Whereas I didn't realize that you guys were actually quite seasoned around that time in terms of performance, in terms of actually standing up in front of a crowd. Because I mean, I think the beauty of the black-led churches, as Junior Simpson used to say, was that they don't boo you, they pray for you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
You know, we used to have recitations, we used to have nights where we used to perform, and you know, golden texts and memories that you used to, the disciplines that was happening in church, we actually didn't realize it was discipline. Like learning our golden text, learning our scriptures, learning and just reciting and standing up in front of people talking. You kind of got it from there, from I was very young. I mean, when I say I was a church girl, my mum was an evangelist and my dad was a deacon. So I was in church, not just Sunday, but right through the week. If I wasn't in drama, I was in church.
So then how did you hide your dyslexia? How did you do that?
I didn't know I was hiding it. I just didn't know that when I was at school. I was very disruptive at school. And in the third year, I got kicked out of school because I was...
Go on, sorry.
Yeah, I was one of those, I'm from Lewisham, I was a little, you know, had a little bit of fun, you know, and I just made people laugh and was disruptive. Any little joke, I had to say it. I was a class clown, as they would say. You know, my teacher wrote on my report, Angie will amount to nothing. Whoa. And I remember thinking, face the teacher, are you telling me that won't amount to nothing? All right, okay, so I'm a little bit rude and I crack jokes.
A bit gobby, yeah.
Amount to nothing, that's a bit much. But because I had the offset of my parents who were telling me I could do all things through Christ, that strengthens me. So I can do anything. I can fly, I can this, I can do all of that. So my parents were telling me different to what the teachers were telling me. So I never really took my teachers seriously until I got kicked out. Then I went, oh, they don't want me here. Okay. Okay, cool. So
where did you end up once they kicked you out? Where did you end up?
Well, I used to go to Lewisham Girls' School, and then I was out for about 6 months. And my mum had me cleaning and doing skirting boards. She was not letting up. And then they got me into school. Ross Howells, you know, Baroness Ross Howells.
I've heard of.
Yeah, and Sybil Phoenix. They used to run the racial equality centre in Lewisham. Okay. And they got me into a school, and I was so annoyed at the time. I was thinking, oh God, they're gonna got me into a school. But they were like fighting for me, you know, to get into the school because they were racist and this and that and the other. Because Lewisham Borough didn't want me. It was a case that nobody wanted me in their school. Man. So
what kind of reputation did you have, man? Because if you're the class clown, for them to say, we don't want her. All right. There was
a few fights here and there.
Those are the bits you missed out.
You didn't ask me if I was fighting. Okay. No, truth. You know, okay, we had fun. Do you know what I mean? So I was kind of like in that crowd, as you would say. So for me, I didn't want to go back to school, but they got me to school and said, you will take this child. And I went to school and Blackie Bluecoats, actually. And then I was okay, really average. I got suspended a few times and threatened to get kicked out again because, you know, when you start a secondary school, you can't go in weak. You've kind of got to go in like, I got kicked out of the other school, so don't even try it.
Okay.
Then you go and find the people who you'll fit in with, right?
Yeah.
And then you're in the same place.
Because I never lasted a term at school.
Really?
Serious. I never lasted a term. When I went to secondary school, every term I got suspended to the point where I got expelled.
Wow. So what were you doing then?
I think I just had too much to say. I was questioning everything.
Yeah.
I had a curious mind, right? And I knew that they didn't expect much of us.
Yeah.
Right. But when they used to kick me out, I used to go in the toilets and study. Right.
Wow.
Yeah. And then when we sat and we did our mocks and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and I did really good in my exams, and I ended up being in the class with Tongu and Sandip and all them man there, yeah. And like, I'm like I don't belong in here. What am I doing in this physics class? What am I doing it? Tongu, man, come on, let's mess about. Tongu don't want to mess about. Do you know what I mean?
What's this work?
He wants to do his work, so to speak. So, but I know that in John Kelly Boyd there was a very, very, very low expectation of us anyway. And the area in which I was living in, it was already decided that we were going to go and work in Park Royal in one of the warehouses, kind of like thing. You know, it was literally decided. I mean, you couldn't think about a white collar job at the time, right?
And I didn't even think about going to work. I was always going on the stage. So when I was telling my teachers, that's what I'm going to do, it was like, you know, dream on. And I'm thinking, no, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get on stage. I'm going to make people laugh.
So you always knew?
I always knew, because I got 4 older brothers, and when we used to have blackouts.
I remember the blackouts.
Yeah, I used to think, wow, time to perform, time to get the candles out and start standing up in front of them, because they can't go nowhere, can they?
Right. Yeah.
So it's like
captivated audience.
I'm the youngest, so they were like, the little girl, let her do her thing, and I used to just try and make my parents laugh, my brothers laugh, and so hearing laughter for me was just like, I'm complete. Once I hear laughter, I think everything's good. Yeah, and so I knew from I was young that, you know, the teachers tried to say shush, you know, but I knew I didn't like reading as well. So if they asked me to read, I would definitely do something, to get kicked out.
Yeah,
I think,
because that's what I was asking. That's why I was asking, like, how did you mask that fact that you didn't know what it was at the time, because nobody really explained dyslexia. I used to make jokes about the fact why they call it dyslexia. You can't find it in the dictionary. You can't even go look that up. It's not even spelled the way that it sounds. You know?
Talk about the hardest word. How wicked. Why don't we just call it DD? So you can go, I can get myself through that. Dyslexia. And you think, hardest word to say and spell. Yeah. But when I was at school, I didn't know that. I just felt I was stupid. I thought, I can't read out loud. I can read when I'm looking at the words. Okay, but when it comes to reading, the words disappear. I feel stupid. I feel anxious. I get hot. I get frustrated. And then I get angry. That's what was happening. So I thought, rather than go through that, just tell some jokes and get kicked out. And get kicked out. And then when I went for audition once when I left school, the director said to me, I think you're dyslexic. And I was like, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Yeah.
And then when I got checked and diagnosed, they said, actually, you're quite severely dyslexic. Like, the words scramble, disappear, come back, and
because there are different forms of it. There's different levels from what I understand. Well, I haven't really gone into it because I kind of like left it alone, because what I found with myself was that everything in my arms would just lock up. Yeah. So it's difficult for me just to write and hold and sort of like thing, but the creative spirit comes out in me differently.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like when you lose your eyesight, your ears pick up, or your sense of smell picks up, or your taste picks up, so to speak. You know,
it's a word blindness. You know what I mean? It's like the words are there, then they go, then they come back, and by the time they're processed to your brain to tell your brain the words are back, the words have gone. And what your memory of that word is now having to tell your brain, it's now changed. So all of that is going on as you're reading, and it's trying to work ahead of that. And because you get into that madness, it's like your body just collapses and says, I can't actually do this. You know, and there's people who are numbers, dyslexic. There are people who are kind of like, when I found out that if I put print on yellow paper, it stabilizes it. The writing and blue paper keeps the writing a bit still.
Okay.
And then you've got dyslexic glasses that can just
Okay.
keep your focus. It
Okay.
just keeps your focus. So there's quite a few things you can use that.
But that's so long as it's diagnosed, though. It has to be diagnosed. I think people have got better as time has gone by.
Yes.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I mean, school is, like you said, school is a wonderful time because there's that sense of freedom. There's no stress or anything like that. And it's not until you start to get older, because as you started growing and you started to venture further out, what was that like for you? Because I mean, I know you found freedom on the stage. Yeah, but were you going for auditions at that time, or was you actually thinking? Were you even contemplating marketing yourself and just doing your own thing, or was it a case of, well, I've got to go out and learn, I've got to go for auditions, I've got to
I didn't, because remember, I started with my first stand-up, I was about 18, 19 when I started doing the performance, which went into the stand-up at that age. So I was going, remember Podium and all those clubs back, Dougie's back in the day. Tony Wellington used to run Finesse modeling agency, and at that time I'd contact these promoters, Crystal Rose, Super Cool, and just say, look, can I do 5 minutes? Can I do 5 minutes? And even starting in the blues, you know, where that's Podium. That picture there's Podium. And
I remember Podium well.
And I remember just saying to the promoters, can I do 5 minutes? Can I do 5 minutes? And fashion shows and blues and those places where our audience, the places that I was raving, was the places that I introduced myself to, because I kind of knew the crowd and could kind of go, we're pretty much living the same life, so we're pretty much going to know what I'm talking about. And that's where it built up. And then I started to get bookings. I mean, you know, imagine you're out there doing it at the beginning, the first, and so therefore everybody wants you. So if you want a woman and you want a man, a black person, I'm 2 for 1. So sometimes I was doing, I'd be in Birmingham, Manchester, London, 2 shows in one night, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a lot of driving. God bless me with my husband, who loves to drive, because we've been in Manchester and I got a show in Birmingham. They're not paying me. They're going to give me some curry goat and rice. So by the time that we get to London, we get something to eat, or do you know what I mean? It was really living in that lane, and the popularity built up, and then people wanted to see me and audition, and that's when I kind of fell on my face, really, because the audition, it didn't work. It was like, I can't do this. I couldn't manage it. It was like they wanted this girl that was doing stand-up, so she can do that. She must be able to do that. She can act. So let's bring her here. And then there would be this disappointment of now. And after a few rejections, you just think, you know what? I'm going to write my own play, and I won't have to. I could audition and I'll get it because I wrote it.
Because you wrote it. I understand that.
Right.
I understand that, because I didn't know. I had no idea that it makes sense that you go through that, but I had no idea. Do you know what I mean? Because by the time I met you, Cabaret had already started. Yeah.
Oh, Cabaret.
Yeah. So you was already doing the motorway runnings at the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? So I'm still green. I am literally green at that stage. And I can remember, like you said, around that time, it was about getting involved in the fashion shows. You know, when people were putting on fashion shows, it was about going to Shanolas and places like that to try and get a little squeeze, a little 5 minutes in, a little 5 minutes there.
Yes. Yeah.
Kind of like. But do you remember what the audiences were like?
The audience were great. I mean, if they weren't, then you just couldn't survive, because that was where you cut your teeth, because you've got to say to people, like, I remember one DJ introduced me, and the lights had to go on.
That's what I said.
people are scrubbing, right? And you're like, oh, this ain't gonna work. Then they're like, turn on the light, turn on the light.
You see this little bright face just turn up, and they're like, I want it.
And then they introduce you, say, we have one guy want to tell 2 jokes. Oh no, move back, make sure call me, move back. And you're like, excuse me, sorry. Hello. So right, and you just get in and you just go. And before you know it, you've got them because you're telling your story, their story, which they haven't heard on television because they're not seeing you on telly, black comedians.
Yeah,
So
but
therefore,
did you think, was you thinking that way at that time, that this is what you're representing? Because it's like you said, I mean, you could see people just look at that. No one sat down. You get me? You can see that there's no organization. There's nothing. There's no real lighting. You get what I'm saying? So
I was on a box. You know, if you look, I'm on a box, you know, Rudy, on that one. I'm standing on a box. They put like 4 boxes together and I'm standing on a box. Like somebody had to help me get up and help me get down. Jeez. You have to be funny. You can't not, because it's too much to stop a dance and go into the middle and go push the box in, and they go, all right, move round, move round. And so everybody's around you.
Around you. That's what I'm saying.
You're working on a round. And then, you know, you've got people who want to rave and you've got to grab their attention. It's like when we used to do cabaret. You can't go to cabaret and not hit it.
Don't take me back there. Don't take me back. Yeah, I know.
Miles Crawford on a Tuesday night. I loved cabaret because it was like you got to get that front row. And I remember Stefan and all those guys used to be at the front. And if you didn't get it, you're gonna die. You're gonna die.
I've said this to them, look, these guys in the room before. I said them lot used to bang champagne bottles on the bloody tables, man. Do you know
in front of you, their feet was up on the stage.
Yeah.
Looking at you like, you better be funny.
Yeah.
And honestly, once you've come through that, but you've done it in the blues, so by the time you've got here, you're kind of going, yeah, I get it. We know what we've got to do. We've got to hit it quick.
Hit it
We've got
hard.
to get it in. Get the ladies on side, because they'll shut the men up. So I've got the ladies on side. Get lost. Let's go.
Yeah. Because who was around you at that time? Who was around you at that time? Because
Jefferson and Whitfield, Miles Crawford, Felix Dexter, rest in peace. Eamon Powell.
Yeah.
Roger D.
Yeah. Those are some good names. Those are some good names to call, because I'm not sure of Marcus's background and Eamon Powell's. Do you get me? Is that June? Is that John Smith with the trousers?
John Smith, yeah.
Because you could always tell he used to wear them
Eamon Powell and Junior Simpson there, and that's my son Travis.
Is that Travis? Little bit dead.
That's Travis there, yeah.
So you lot was busy when you lot was going up and down the motorway.
What babysitter? It's just get in the car and babysitter. One time I was on stage and I saw my kids just walking on stage, and little ones just walking on the stage. And I was like, in the middle of my set thinking, why are you in the changing room? You know, that was real. They'd sit in the back of the car, get some food for them and put that in their gut and get on to the next gig. Yeah.
Because I think it was from Cabaret meeting up with Hugh that I would say you can correct me if I'm wrong here, okay? I would say that the national circuit started to develop from the drum, from going up to the drum, then going up to Sheffield, then him going Nottingham
and Bristol and all. I mean, what John Simmet did for the black comedy circuit in terms of nationwide, he everywhere. He just had us move. Leo Chester as well.
Yeah,
he just had us moving around every weekend. You can guarantee we were selling out the Crucible Theatre, Alexander Theatre. Remember, we haven't done television, you know.
Yeah, I know.
The circuit.
We were spoiled that way.
The circuit was building up. The black audience were coming out and saying, you know, underground, there's these black comics who are telling their story, and they were coming out in their numbers. And then before you know it, we were in the bigger theatres selling out, and we were having a ball, man. It was like, if I could go back to that time, I would love it, because it was just, we didn't know what we were building. It was innocent.
So what do you think has happened to the circuit then? I mean, has it evaporated? What do you think has happened to it?
I think it's it's grown. It's the progression. It's moved on. It will never be what it was before, because it wasn't supposed to be. We were supposed to build it, inspire, build it again, move on, open new doors, get international, get national, you know, and just make it bigger than what it was. And the audience forced that, because we couldn't do it without an audience.
But the thing is, our audiences would predominantly come out bank holidays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It wasn't because what I learned pretty quickly was it was always, and our comedy nights was an event.
Yes.
It was an event. It wasn't just a night out. It was put on your shoes, get your claws. You get me? It was like a 3-week or 4-week preparation for you to decide that you're gonna go. Whereas,
that's right.
Whereas if I went once I started to work the white circuit, it was like we're just going in the pub, innit? You just getting down the rag, like, you know what I mean?
You had smaller venues. You had venues that were just catering for about 60 people
30, 40 people
on a Tuesday night. You know what I mean? If we had cabaret right across England, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it'd be the same thing, because cabaret was on a Tuesday night,
which was amazing when you think about it. A Tuesday night,
and it was packed. I don't think there was a night when it wasn't packed. So you have all those venues. You've got different comedy venues that are opening up, and so for the mainstream, it's different. We were doing different types of venues for different audiences. We were dressing up, they were dressing up. You know, you had the work that Ian Thompson was doing as well with black comedy, which was taking us to the next level.
He took, because the thing is that Ian rode off the back, not off the back of, I mean, Dave Bryant built the Black Comedy Club.
Black Comedy, and Jenny Landreth.
Yeah, and Jenny, right? I never met Jenny, by the way, right? But when he took it from Albany to, is it St. Matthews?
St. Matthew's meeting place, yeah.
Yeah, and then he went to Tabby, right?
Yeah.
And then the growth started. The growth started really, really, really and truly happening. But then at the same time, TV started knocking, as I recall. And what was your, what was your baptism when it came to TV? What was that like?
Well, the thing is, it was like you got. I think it was Ian Thompson did Miles Crawford show.
Yeah, The Warehouse.
Yes, that's right. And what Ian was doing was getting us ready for the next level. So he was getting us prepared with shows that were not just a night out where it's 10 comics, it's the one woman show, or it's the production now. Because we did Cinderella, Jefferson and Whitfield wrote Cinderella. Right. And when we did Cinderella, it was just, again, if I could go back to a time, it would be that. We didn't know what we were doing. You know, we just knew that we needed a pantomime that was black. So the Civic, where Ian was, he produced that so that we could see that we could run for more than one night. We could build it, and we could spend 3 weeks and then go to 5 weeks and then go to 6 weeks. So by the time I had finished doing that, I had met some of the cast members, and the ladies I came together with and wrote Funny Black Women for them.
Okay. And you wrote it for them.
You all
wrote it together, because you took that to Edinburgh.
No, I wrote Funny Black Women because when I was doing Cinderella, this is not the original Funny Black Women. It was Felicity Ethnic, who was in Cinderella. It was Yvette Rochester Duncan, who was in Cinderella.
Is Yvette not in this picture? No, Yvette's not there. Yvette is there.
Yvette's on my left.
On your right.
Oh.
Yeah. But looking at it, it's left.
Yes.
Yeah. And also is Chizzy.
Chizzy came on board when we did Theatre Royal Stratford East.
Right.
But when we did it at the Civic Centre, we had met from doing Cinderella.
Right.
And then I went to Canada because I so enjoyed working together. I went to Canada. I said, I'm going to go and write a show and come back for you guys. I came back. I said, Ian, I've written this show, Funny Black Women on the Edge. And he said, let's go for it. Let's do it. And we put it on and sold out and sold out and sold out. Then the show got picked up and went to Edinburgh Festival. So the show went to Edinburgh Festival, sold out, got great reviews, came back. And then that's when the Real McCoy came in, because they were introducing the stand-up. After I'd done the stand-up in the Real McCoy, the following day, that was it. It was
so. Then how does Malcolm Fredericks come into the picture then?
Well, Malcolm Fredericks comes in because after I'd done the Real McCoy, they were doing a Channel 4 sketch show. So he called me and Chris Tummins, and we came together, and we, you know, he had quite a few people that we were working with to try and work out what the show was going to be. And it ended up being 3 of us. Now, that was just the experience that was such a life changer, because Malcolm Frederick, again, rest in peace, he was about the change. He was about taking control of your destiny and writing your script, getting paid for writing your script, knowing that the percentage, and breaking down the business side of things. And even when I even met you, had Chris on, but I walked into the rehearsal room once and Chris was there. Remember, I grew up on No Problem.
That's right.
And I walk in and I see Toshiba. and that's how I've seen it. It's like Beastly and Toshiba.
Yeah.
And I walked in and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it, you know? I saw them years ago doing Tooth of a Crime in what do you call it? Tricycle Theatre.
Okay.
And so I've watched their career, television, Judith Jacobs as well. So working alongside them, half the time you had to literally pinch me, because I just felt, wow, look at this moment. You know, I think that was just a time where you just kind of was around stalwarts, people who knew what they were doing. And again, like Larrington and Ellen Thomas and Trevor, they were just guiding you, you know?
Because from there, it was like you started to see that you could actually pave your own way, because you never kind of really stood still. I mean, yeah, I remember because when you went and when you was doing Funny Black Women, right? I was up in Edinburgh at the same time. I think I was in the bloody Loft, right? And I think you guys were in
Gilded Balloon.
Gilded Balloon, yeah. So I was at the Pleasant. That's right. I was at the Pleasant. You lot was in the Gilded Balloon, yeah. And I remember talking to you and stuff like that. I'm going, yeah, man, I'm just about to stand up. And you was like, nah. You're like, nah. Yeah, the stand up is there, but you was more like theatre. Because like I said, I didn't know that you was coming from a theatre background, so to speak. Yeah. And like you said, the great facilitators, the Johns and the Ian Thompsons, right? That was breeding that kind of experience into you in terms of there's a bigger picture here. There's more to understand, because I did come into it with a business mind. I really did. And I thought, right, how am I going to tackle this business? Because the first thing, once I found myself in the position that I found myself is I knew I couldn't represent myself. Right. I need a white guy. I need a front. I need a white guy. I need a front. Yeah. So that's how I got hold of Paul Dudridge. So the name Vesna most probably rings a bell with you. Yeah.
Just managed Gina.
That's right. Yeah. But then Gina that's what I'm saying, is because I put Gina in touch with Dudge.
Okay.
Yeah, because Gina was hungry and wanting to know how I was doing bits of TV and stuff like that at that point in time. Yeah. But all when you was doing the Civic, you was, if I'm correct, you have to correct me if I'm wrong, right? You started doing courses as well.
Yeah.
Tell us about the courses, the workshops. Yeah.
The workshops. I think that thing of coming from Theatre Royal and, not Theatre Royal, what's it called? Dick Shepherd's.
Right.
And knowing that the actors ahead of us was passing it on, it just made sense that there is somebody younger than you that doesn't know something that you know. And so therefore you could gather people together and say, well, this is what I learned so far. You know what I mean? And so therefore, here's my knowledge on that. And then when I learn some more, I'll come back to you. You know what I mean? So I've always been doing workshops and just kind of like getting to younger people who couldn't actually get to the same routes, the same way I couldn't get to that route, who can't go stage school or whatever. And so it's always been that plan to kind of get kids together. So I was always doing workshops from very, very early.
I mean, yeah, because that was one of the reasons why when I went up to Edinburgh the second time, remember I called you? And you came, the three of you came, sat down in the front, big handbag and everything, getting ready to listen to me hit my spiel, kind of like thing, and give me what bit of advice that you could give me. I was quite shocked that you arrived, to be honest with you.
it's what you do, isn't it? It's like you needed to have feedback, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that was it. And I remember walking into the pub thinking, oh, this is great. This is great. I know what, I'm going to make it really hard for you. I'm going to sit in the front.
Sit right in the front. Yeah. Yeah. And you're like, all right, come on then, bring it, come.
Make us laugh.
Yeah. which kind of helped when you consider that by the time I did get to Edinburgh, and like the weekends were always sold out shows for me. You get me? And then it was the hard slog because during the week, you know, unless you got those stars, you know, it was always going to be hard work. But then at the same time, it was a case of paying agents again, because I was thinking, you know, this is how the business works, you know, not realizing that a lot of it was running on coke as well. You know how they are. That's just how they are. And you got to go to the loft bar and the library bar, and you got to do all the networking kind of like stuff. I mean, how were you when it came to the networking? Because I've got a feeling that you're a good networker.
I can't play the game. I'm not good at that. You know what I mean? Right. I can't go, oh, I better go there because guess who might be there? They might do that. I can do that for a bit, and then afterwards I'll be going, I'm going. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because I know what I have to do. I have to work, and that's just it. I've got to build the numbers, and I've got to work. I took 3 shows to Edinburgh. You know, I took Funny Black Women, and I did one woman show, and then I took Do You Know Where Your Daughter Is? Because the actors in Do You Know Where Your Daughter Is, young actors. And I said to them, I want you to come to Edinburgh. So I'm going to take you to Edinburgh myself so that you can put on your CV that you played Edinburgh Festival. Because that seems to be the thing people want to see. There it is. Do you know your daughter is? And I said, let's go. Let's get to Edinburgh. And we had a fantastic time. But so for me, it's always been about the numbers. Like if you write a good show, people come and see it. You save from that. You get sponsors. You go to that theatre. It's a numbers game. If you do it once here, then take it to Birmingham, Manchester, Leeds, and times it by 10. You start to build the revenue. You start to build the reputation. And before you know it, people come and see you so that you can survive without somebody saying, oh, it's your turn for us to choose you. It's your turn.
Right.
That, to me, I'm not going to give anybody that power. So that really, and yes, I've gone to the smooching and
it's hard work, isn't it? It's hard work. But I like your strategy, because you're very strategic in the way that you move. You know, because once Jeff left or got booted out or whatever way it went with regards to Choice FM, yeah, you saw there was an opportunity. And was that in your mind before it happened?
I was doing Friday nights and Monday nights ladies' room on Choice, and then I left. And when Jeff left, they contacted me and said, "We'd like you to come to the Saturday morning show." Right. So I said, before you do that, I'm going to contact Jeff and speak to Jeff.
Yes.
And so I spoke to Jeff, and they wanted me to start soon. I said, no, I don't want to start straight away. Give it time to get the audience used to this. Let me get ready, because I'm taking over Jeff Schumann. So it's not just light work, just jumping and go, hi, everyone. I need to get that my mindset from my Friday night show to a Saturday morning show. Yeah, that's the difference. And to speak to Jeff and then do the right PR and come in respectfully. And that's how that happened. So, and I loved it. I loved what radio could do, because I was enjoying it in the nighttime. Okay. I started off at Radio London, actually. Yeah, because
I think quite a number of us got a call from GLR.
Yeah, GLR,
to come in. Do you get me? And my thing was, we can't see nobody. We can't. Like, I didn't have that creative mind to think that they're sitting there listening, you know. They're sitting there listening. I had to feel the audience. I had to see them. I had to evoke that response, whether it was positive or negative, because you know you can work on both ends of the.
Well, it wasn't easy, because Ray Paul was my producer, and he literally had to speak now, stop, play the record. And how I got that show, I did a sketch show on Get Up Stand Up, where I was a DJ, and it was a DJ that used to kind of like give bad advice in the nights. So then Gloria, this lady from GLR, contacted me and said, I think you should do radio. And I was like, radio? Because all I'm thinking, I got to read. So if you're going to, I can't take that. It's too much. I can't manage it.
Yeah.
So she said, come in and try it because you've got a good voice. So I went, okay. And Bob Mills used to do the Sunday night. And I took over.
Bob was good to me, actually. Mr. Bob Mills, he took me to Sky.
It's a good guy.
Yeah,
it's a good guy.
Sky.
So I was taken over from him. And then literally Ray Paul, speak now. And I'd be like, hi, crack a joking, because you can't hear nothing.
That's what I'm saying. There's no feedback.
It's only when you speak to somebody like a week later, they go, oh, that joke you said was funny. And you realize, oh, so it's a week delay. It's not going to come back to me straight away. So just talk, let it go, and it's a different medium. So that's really how I got into radio. And then Choice came and I saw Patrick Berry. I was putting some adverts on that Choice, and I went, oh, Patrick, give me a show. I'd love to have a show. And he went, you want a show? Okay, cool.
Simple as that.
And I was like, okay. Yeah, because contact Live Etienne and then go and get your show. I was like, all right.
What? Yeah, but you were Angie Lamar by then. I mean.
Yeah, but at the same time,
you're still humble.
You got to ask, because nobody was. He didn't see me and go, Angie, do you want a show? So it was for me to go, can I have a show? And that's how I've done a lot of things. It's just gone and said, can I have that? Can I try that? Can I do that? And when they say, have you done it before? I say, well, I think I can do it. And I'll go home and work out how to do it.
Okay.
And come back and say, I think this is how you do it. And learn as you go.
So then when you started, when did you actually start writing The Brothers then?
The Brothers, you know how The Brothers came about? I'm in Jamaica, okay? And my mum used to watch Young and Restless. And at 7 o'clock, she would just stop talking and go and watch Young and Restless, just like that. Mid-conversation, she'd be going, Young and Restless, and she'd be gone. And I said, I started watching Young and Restless and thinking, I want to write a show that does that, where people stop and go, I better watch this. So I then said to Etienne, I'd like to write a drama series for my radio show on Saturday mornings. Well, it started on those ladies' talk, but I want to start a ladies' room. But I want to start writing a drama. And he goes, okay, go for it. And he started to produce it. When we brought The Brothers to the Saturday morning show, there's a slot that must have brought in about thousands. I think it was well into the 60,000. It was just big numbers.
Right.
And I thought, they just want to hear what happens to Michael or what happens to Kenny. And if he's sleeping with her and he gets caught and this girl doesn't want him to see his children. And I just started to write that type of drama.
Okay.
Then I thought, I bet they want to see what they look like. And that's when I thought, okay, let's go for Hackney Empire. And we were doing 8 o'clock showings and 12 o'clock showing of The Brothers. Yeah. Chucky, RK, Jason and Richard. Yeah.
So how did you decide who was going to have what role?
Well, when I'm casting, I once I start to feel who I want the person to play, I start writing with them in mind, and then go for it. You know what I mean? Chucky was doing Footballers' Wives, and I thought that's Richard. That's Richard, and Richard was going through a difficult time. You know, I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying, but he was going through that whole bankruptcy and that madness and whatever. And I remember contacting him because he was really down on his luck, feeling really low. And I said, come and do Brothers. And he was like, Angie, I've got nothing there, you know? Yeah. I said, please, I think it would be good to be in the environment. And he said he's never acted before. I said, that's not the problem. I just want you to turn up, you know? And he came.
But Richard always wanted to be an actor, though. Richard always wanted to be an actor.
Yeah. And so The Brothers was his first show. And he was like, he just loved it. He was really amazing. And to this day, he will always give props. And that's nice to know that, because he did a great job. He just loved it. And Jason came up to me once. I was in a petrol station. He went, I'm the guy you're looking for.
Is it? And
I was like, okay, well,
let's see you at audition. It's like you said, if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah, you've just got to because people like that. People like when someone says, I'm the one. There's this girl that was, she played Pip in The Brothers. And she went to an event. I was at an event and she waited for me because she knew I was going to be there with her biog and her picture. And I remember when I came outside, it was really cold and rainy, and there was this girl standing there waiting for me. And she goes, "Hi, Angie, I knew you were going to be here. I just wanted to give you my CV. If there's anything that you're doing here, I'd love to." And I was like, "Oh my God," because I just kept looking at her head thinking, her head looks like a pip. It just reminds me of a pip. So I said to her, "You know what, I've got a part for you. I want to come for an audition." So she came for an audition, and I just gave her the role of Pip. I actually called the character Pip because her head reminded me of a pip. And just her confidence, because I was that girl. I'm the sort of
you can see yourself in her.
Yeah, and once I can see myself there, I just go, "You know what? Let's do it. I like that you've come that way round."
So was that when Loose Women first came knocking at the door?
Well, Loose Women came knocking at the door when, you know, I'm busy, I'm doing all these shows and whatever. And they were getting a lot of stick for the fact that they didn't have a black woman on there. And my agent got a call and said, "Look, Loose Women are looking for a black woman. They want you to come in straight away. We pretty much think you can handle it, Angie. Let's go, let's go." So I went and met this producer, Susan, and then that was it. I was on. That episode was like the worst experience because what we rehearsed wasn't what we did.
Right.
And I remember sitting there thinking, "I thought you were going to come to me. I thought that's what we rehearsed."
Right.
Oh, you're going to her? Okay.
So then you just look like a nana sitting there. Just
I was sitting there like. So when they contacted my agent and said she doesn't really speak, I was like, I should have just taken off my clothes live and just, let's just go for it. But you
listen, I learned so much about TV. It was ridiculous. I mean, when I did Planet Mirth, and we wrote scripts and what have you, and then Emma, what's her surname? I can't remember her surname, but Emma used to drive off with the producer. Yeah. Come back the next day, everything was rewritten with Emma as a central character. Yeah. And everybody else is on a peripheral role. Right?
Yeah.
And then it was like, I wasn't good with lines. I wasn't good with lines because they were just classical actors. They were in the moment. They were just in the script.
Okay.
If you get what I mean.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
They were just in the script. So, and then it was like, I just found myself further and further and further, just pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed to the side. And every morning they'd go off to lunch together, they'd come back together, a new script would develop. And it was like, I started to see how you play the game, basically.
Yeah. It's sharky, you know, and that's just the truth, you know. You start off here today and tomorrow you go, oh, no more. Oh, that's not worked out. No one's telling you anything. It's just, oh, it didn't work out. Oh, we're sorry about that. You know what I mean? And you just think, well, why don't you say, because I could have done that better, but you clearly didn't want me to stay. And I think after you've done a few of those, you just go, well, once I see how you do it, like when I went to Loose Women, I thought, okay, I can go and create my own show. I've only got to call some friends and say, look, they have a table, they have some chairs, and they talk. Let's go to a network. We went to Vox Africa, and you know, we did the show there for a couple of years, and then ABN TV, and you know, we're going to bring it back later this year because you just know how to do it, and that's what I get. It's like once you know. That's when I went to Washington DC. That lady that's sitting there. Do you remember Madam Walker?
Yes.
That woman that's there, Alicia. That's her granddaughter.
Oh.
And so these were heavyweights in Washington DC. So I did ladies talk there, and then I went to New York and did it in New York, and then we were heading to Jamaica, but we didn't get to Jamaica. But you know, we'll pick it up again. Ladies Talk International.
Because the thing is that I remember when we would talk, and you go, now we've got to go straight to the audience. We've got to go straight to the audience. It's about going straight to the audience. And then the next thing I knew, there was a production company called Straight to the Audience.
Yeah, and that's it. It's like that God gave me that production company name because I was sick. Remember when I had I had fluid on the brain, and I was really sick for about a year when I was carrying her, having lumbar punctures right through my pregnancy.
And I remember reading Conversation with God, because no matter what, the church girl doesn't go. And I remember saying, God, you know, what is this about? Because here I am. They thought it was a brain tumor. They realized that my brain is being crushed by fluid. So what is it all about? I don't feel like I'm going to die, but it feels like the headaches were so bad, Rudy. I just wanted to die. It was horrible. But God said to me, you keep asking people for permission to be great, and I made you great. You don't need to ask them. You need to cut out the middleman and go straight to your audience. And I remember saying, God, as soon as I get better, if you let me get through this, I'm going to set up that company. And I set up that company in 2001.
Yeah, because I distinctly remember you talking about it, because I mean, all during this time, you're meeting a lot of influential people who are stimulating you. You know? Yeah.
And that's the thing. You just kind of like, you just go for it. You know, you don't wait for permission. You know, it's
tell me you and him ain't friend. Tell me you and him ain't friend. You ain't. Tell me you ain't.
I want to speak to him about Kim and find out what's going on there. see if we can sort that out. Oh man, I met some legends, man. Some fantastic people. Well, John Legend as well. But you know, you just go through it. It's better you keep running and somebody pulls you back, as opposed to you don't go. So but you run out there and people say, oh, that's a bit up, that's a bit fast, and then you come back, as opposed to waiting for someone to bring you in or waiting for someone to introduce you, because no one's going to do that. A few people will, but not a lot of people. So you got to find your confidence and just go, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to jump and see what they say. And 9 times out of 10, people seem to go, okay, all right.
So then what made you really go for it? What made you, whoa, I'm just going out of the West End, let me just do my thing?
Because
that's a massive jump.
When I went to Shaftesbury Avenue, because I wanted to go to take stand-up to the West End, and nobody had taken it to the West End. And I said, you know what, I want to go. And they were going to give me a theatre, but it wasn't, I wanted Shaftesbury Avenue. And so I was working with Tony Fairweather and said, Tony, look, we can do this. We can go straight in. So when we had the few meetings, they were saying to us, look, your audience ain't going to come to the West End, not for those ticket prices. And I said to them, my audience will come. They will come. So I went on my radio show on a Saturday morning and opened up the lines and said, they don't think you will turn up to the West End. Box office number 0207, da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da.
That's why I say you're strategic, man. You're strategic, girl. You're strategic. You're strategic. Because you've got the ears of the audience via the radio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's obvious that there's a gap in the market. There's a demand there, but there's nothing warranting black people to actually want to go out there, because Les Miserables and all them play there. We're like, I mean, all them play there. They don't relate to me as such, even though Othello and that is us. But it's just like the Bible. We don't know that it was black people who wrote it, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah. We deserve to be there. That's why I wanted Shaftesbury Avenue, because we deserve to experience that. You know, when I opened up the curtains and there was this audience, Sheila Ferguson was there, Colin Salmon, Moira Stewart, everybody was out for this occasion. And what can you say? It's that we deserve to be here. The math says to me that if I do the right promotion, and I don't take promotion for granted, I don't just do adverts and not flyers and not posters. I do it all and do the marketing so that I can say, I've done everything I could. So what was it? And then you've sold out, because it's an event for everybody too. You know, they want to be a part of this journey that you're saying, going to the West End. I'm going to go back to the West End. I'm going to go to Queen's Theatre and do a celebration of over 35 years and still counting, you know? So it's an event. So somebody here will be going, I'd go to that, Ange. And I've started to sow the seeds from here. So when they see the flyer, they'll go, she did say that. oh,
Yeah.
here it is. I could get a ticket. Her shows normally sell out. When people used to say to me, oh, if it's an Angie show, get a ticket because they always sell out. When
Yeah.
I heard that was the thing that they would say, I thought,
But you're coming off the back of the Civic, innit? You're coming off the back of the teachings of Ian. You're coming off the back of all of that.
That's
wrapped
right.
up in you now.
Because when I was doing this, when we were doing the Funny Black Women, I had a Golf convertible at that time. We'd go down to the bagel shop. I put the posters all around the car. All of us, the cast, would have on clothes that would really represent the show itself. And we'd play the theme tune, Funny Black Women on the end, and be giving out flyers. So we go to clubs outside, giving out. So you make it an event, and they go, "Oh, those are mad girls that was at the club, standing outside playing their car, playing the music in their car." So it's just guerrilla style marketing. That everything.
Marketing has so changed now, though, hasn't it? It's so evolved, man. I mean, it's literally, you know, how many numbers can you accumulate? I mean, I'm talking about the Yardies. I'm talking about the Dizzles. I'm talking about Judy. There's a different. It's a different beast now, isn't it? Comedy. It's a totally different beast now.
Yeah, it's coming in from another angle, and so whatever angle you're coming in from, whether you're coming from back in the day, new school, or whether you're coming in off the social media, you must meet at funny. And if that's what you're selling, then you meet at funny. So if funny is the result, then funny will get you that audience that side. Funny will keep that audience from that side, and funny will do that. So no matter where you're coming from, we're coming to the same place. And that's the new game. And so some people got to get on board, like what you're doing now. You just get on board. This is what people are doing. This is what I think I'm going to reach another audience on a Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. And that's the way in.
But do you feel that sense of responsibility in terms of what you say and what you do on stage? Do you feel a sense of responsibility? I
think so, because I always remember that my mum and dad mustn't be embarrassed. You know, rest in peace. My dad's gone now, and he was never embarrassed. You know, my mum could walk in at any point of a show and say, "Okay, there might be a little swearing in that play, but oh, Angela," you know what I mean?
No, but you were very clean. I'll give you because I mean, my mouth was all over the place, as you know, but you were very tut. You were very. I do think you're very conservative with your comedy. I do.
Yeah, that's my style. That's me. If I came out and I was doing it different, you go, "That's not Angie." So it's no point trying to go, "Oh, I need to do this to be more like this." I'm not going to do that. I'm not. You know, if there was a time when this wasn't working, I'd know when to stop.
Right.
But and what I've done has worked for me. Even if people say, "Oh, you need to be a little bit more there to get that," I go, "Well, that's fine. Somebody will come along who does that,
and they will do that,
and they will do that, and that's great."
I hear that.
And I respect that. But I'm 56 this year, and I'm all right. I'm happy with what I do because I love it. So, and there's some bigger plans. It's not over.
No, I think to be honest with you, I think it's just the beginning because I think they're missing a trick to a certain degree. I mean, both even on the mainstream circuit to a certain degree that they're rushing for the young, not realizing that they're older paying for the young to do what they do, if you get what I mean. So the kids are getting older, which means that once the kids are getting older, that means we got more cash because we're not spending it on them anymore because they're now earning their own cash. You get what I mean? And it's like, well, who is actually catering?
Because the audience don't just die. They don't just go, "Oh, I got to this age, I really like that person, and I no longer," you know, you might have watched Whoopi Goldberg on this show, watch her stand up, and now you're watching her on The View because you like Whoopi Goldberg. You know what I mean? We've watched Oprah, and so we're watching her now, just complete bank. So
how much? That's interesting because how much of an influence did Whoopi have on you?
A big influence because when I found out that Whoopi was dyslexic when I was young, I just pulled towards her as a black woman with locks, and you know, watching her one woman show.
All right, that's where I got. That's where I go with it.
Yeah,
That's
watching
where I go with it. Yeah.
one woman show, do characters and just have that voice, because people think swearing is edge. Swearing isn't edge. Topics is edge, and how far you go with the topics and what you really want to say if you dare to say it. That's edge. So once I watched off Broadway, and I thought, that is it. That's the goal for me. That's the goal. That's what I want to be. So for me, when I met her, she was doing a book. I was on Radio London at the time, BBC London, GLR. And they said she was coming over to promote her book. So I said, you know what? I've got to meet this woman. And I got 10 minutes with her. They said, you can have 10 minutes with her. She was at Planet Hollywood. Now, I came down with film crew.
Yeah, I remember.
I was working on Get Up, Stand Up, right? And I was like, right, how am I going to get this filmed? So I spoke to the camera guy, and I spoke to the sound, and I spoke to the production. I said, guys, listen, we're not working on that time. Can I get you together to come and film this for me? Because it's Whoopi Goldberg. And they were like, sure, and so they get down there, they set up big film crew, because obviously it's television film crew. It's not no small video. So when the agent walks in, she's like, well, what is going on?
Yeah.
If 10 minutes, I'm good. But when I went to Whoopi and said, Whoopi, can I do a quick sketch with you while you come in? Because I want to be at the bar reading your book. And then you come over to I look at you, look at the book and go, oh my God, Whoopi. The agent looks at me like, what the hell this woman thinks she's doing? So I'm thinking, they can only say no, right?
Right.
So Whoopi looking at me like a young black comedian, like, sure, Angie, come on, let's do it. And the agent's like, my God, liberty.
Yeah, because normally you got to jump through hoops.
That's right.
Just to even get that close.
Whoopi goes out and comes back in, and I'm at the bar, and she goes, Angie, and I'm like, Whoopi, oh my God. And so we act this thing out. So the woman says, you've got 10 minutes. I was there for an hour and a half.
Yeah, I remember you said, I think it was that's even in print. I think it's even in print.
Yeah, an hour and a half. And then I made her, I wrote a poem, and a friend of mine, John Byrne, had done a cartoon, and I framed it. I told her what she meant to me.
Right.
And we were in the cinema now, in the theatre of Planet Hollywood, and she's watching herself and telling me, I did that, that's what I did that. I mean, she was really having a relaxed time. And then I gave her the post, the picture frame, and said, listen, I just want to say thank you.
Right.
And she read it, and she just kind of got a little bit emotional. And I was like, oh my God, this is awkward. Because she just read it and went, thank you, doll. Thank you. And I went, no, thank you. She goes, thank you. That for me, that was it. I mean, I must have flew home. You know when you just I'm on air like Whoopi because she's Scorpion, left-handed, dyslexic.
I was going to mention that right at the top of the show. You're actually left-handed.
Yes, left-handed. Left-handed dyslexic is even worse.
They don't make doors for you. You know that they don't make doors. They don't make tin openers. They don't.
They don't make keys. Yeah.
Don't make keys.
So no, that's
what you call a disability. You could actually put a badge on your car and go, "I've got a disability.
I'm left-handed.
I'm left-handed. Can't open the door. Can't open the door."
But she
what was this meeting like? What was that meeting like?
Oh Lord have mercy!
Yeah.
When I got that meeting with Maya Angelou, that was like just amazing because you know the story, her story. So when you walk into a room, and I'm telling you, it just felt like angels were in there. That kind of eerie feeling of like you've entered a room with this presence,
Right.
And I remember walking up to her, and I was kind of like took her hand and sort of like went like this with my head, like "Nice to meet you."
Yeah,
and she
like
went,
the queen.
Yeah, like she's our queen.
Yeah,
so
that's like me meeting Morgan Freeman. I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
So she was like, "Don't bow to anybody but God."
Okay.
I was like, "Oh."
Hold your head up, girl.
Yeah, hold your head up. I thought, but you're worthy of that. And she was like, "Don't bow to anybody but God." And I just thought, Thank you. She was just so measured and cool, and you walked out there thinking, yeah, I've got to live my best life, and I've got to live it in the right zone and trust and believe in myself. You know, she was a powerful woman, and you felt it.
Well, the thing is that she actually pulled up Curtis Walker.
Yeah, that's right.
She pulled up Curtis on his behavior and told him about the blessing that he's been given.
Yeah,
and
Moon Rainbow Show.
Yeah, that's the way. Yeah, she actually pulled him up, and because he spoke to us about it on this show.
Yeah,
you know that.
We spoke about it as well. No joke.
Yeah, it was an amazing story that he actually told. But it's like you guys, not you guys, but you have been blessed in that way, you know. But let's talk about these. You did an internet program which I used to watch. I was watching where it was going to go. Oh God, I can't remember the name of it, Ange.
With
but it
women.
Yes.
Ryan Sisters.
Ryan Sisters, that's the one. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
What happened with that?
Well, at the
how
time,
did that come about? Let's say how it came about, and then
it just really was about trying to take Black women into a sitcom territory, and just say there are so many different types of Black women, you know, and we're not the stereotype. We are more than one thing. And I wanted to break that up and just kind of like get these women sisters who were quite tight, very, you know, close in family, but had issues like sibling issues. And I just thought, well, let me film it, get some friends together and film it and see how we go. Got a great response, but again, taking it through to the next stage is always sometimes the hardest bit, where you know sitcom is a different type of beast, and you have to have a lot of money to do that and move it forward. So while I was making a pilot, I could make the pilot and say, look, how does this look? Great response, but it's never the right thing at the right time. And these people are not realistic in story because they're middle class Black women, and you know they've got money and they drive big cars and they, you know what I mean. It's
not what they want Middle England to see, darling.
Yes, darling. It's not realistic.
It's not really what they want to see.
So you just think, okay, I'll come back to that. It's not over. It's just delayed for now. But I will get that sitcom. I know that there's that market for that, and if it's an international market, so be it now.
Because I thought at that point, I thought you were reaching through you were more or less talking to the internet to see what the traction was going to be. Do you get what I mean? Because, like I said, it's always you put the pilot out there to find out whether or not it's worthwhile pursuing or following through on it, so to speak. And then if it isn't, then you move on to the next thing, which is something that you consistently do. You shed your skin quite often.
I think you must. You know, we're told jack of all trades and master of none, but that's a lie. You know, we can do lots of different things, and if we're going to live a life this long, who wants to have spent all this time doing the same things just because they've mastered it? I would like to think that I tried that and I tried that and I tried that, and when I get to heaven, I want God to say, "Oh God, Angie's there. She's tired. Move out the way, guys. She's tired. Let her sit down." I want to go to heaven and go, "She's shattered. Thank you, Lord."
Okay.
You know what I mean? As opposed to woulda, shoulda, coulda. Well, I wish I'd done that. I wish I'd. You know, no, I don't want to ever think I'd love to have done that. You know, it's important that we live our life, especially in this climate now where we don't know tomorrow. I mean, losing people like this.
But are we losing? Here's my question to that, Angie. Are we losing people because of the age that we've reached, or are we losing people simply because of the current global situation?
I think it's a mixture of both. You know, we are at that age when, you know, when your parents were going to funeral and you're thinking, where are you going? You know, they're going funeral. But I think also in this climate right now, yes, definitely. And people that we never expected to die. We just, how did you die? It's like when Paul Lawrence died. I was doing some work with Paul, and the day before he said to me, "Angie, send me the link so that because I was doing an audience with his Just Tickets, and he said, send me the link so that I can sort the thing out. So when Sherry called me and said, sent a message saying, Paul had died, and I went, no, it's not Paul. I've got to send him the link. So it's not Paul. And I said to her, go and check what Paul, because Paul Lawrence is a name that I've heard before a few times.
Right.
So please go and check, because it can't be Paul, because Paul can't die. Paul's got too much to do. Paul is awesome. Paul is amazing. Nah. And when it hit me, I just thought, you know what? Jesus, man, that doesn't make sense. Like, you know, when something doesn't make sense, like you can.
It didn't make none, because I was in the process of booking Paul to come and chat, you know, have a sit down, you know, and learn more about the guy. It was. I think it was a shock. It was a shock to everyone.
Everybody. That was the shock, and I think what we learned from that was, you know what, you better do what you come to do. You better live your life quickly. Not live your life and just dream and whatever, but live your life quickly. You want to dress up and go out or do things. I remember the other day I was walking my dog in the park. I had full makeup on. I know people are thinking there comes a mad lady with her lashes walking through the park like, good morning, good afternoon. Because that's how I felt, you know, and I'm not going to put things off, because when my time comes, please be clear on this. Know that I lived my life. I partied hard. I drank champagne. I'd done it, and I'm enjoying it. So that when my time comes, I can go, okay.
No, I've always said, when I go, I want to go up there and have stories to tell. I don't want to say that I was eating tofu. I'd be shut up, man, about you eating tofu. Well, I ain't not about no tofu. You know, I was pulling that spliff, yeah, and me and Stefan was around the corner, and that's what I want to do. I don't want to say to myself that, you know, I was every day I had to get up and go and see the same brick wall. It feels that way now because everything's been locked down.
There's not. Everybody says, well, when I lose weight, or when I do this, or when I do that, you know, I was always overweight. When I look at some of my pictures, I'm thinking, well, you thought you was overweight then, and look at your pictures now. You're glad to be that size now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Something was always a problem at that time. It's to try to get into your head now. Actually, as it is now, I have life, and that's good. I'm good. I'm good.
I hope you don't mind me asking this question now, because we're going to wrap up, because we've really spoiled them tonight, and they know it. They've been very quiet in the in the room. Normally,
I thought you'd get some questions.
No, we'll get some questions. We'll definitely get some questions. They know that I haven't opened it up yet. Yeah. But I was very surprised when you like when #NoJoke came up. I didn't expect you to part so soon.
Oh wow, really?
No.
You know what it was? Eddie called me up and said, Angie, we need to talk because of the whole George Floyd, and I remember there was a lot of conversations happening, and I didn't want to speak to the kind of, you know, they call you to say, Angie, what do you think of this? Angie, what do you think of that? And all of that. And you just think, I'm not here just to talk about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's other things I talk about. I like gardening, actually.
Right.
I have a dog and a cat. If you want to talk about pets, I've got other things. So I kind of stay away from some of those subjects. And then Eddie called me and said, look, we need to talk. We need to come together as a community and people who people trust and start speaking. So I then said, okay, Eddie, it's Curtis. And I know these guys, and they're my mates from back in the day. Let's sit down and talk. And we just went for it. And I think what happened is that it went for so long. I think we did 3 months straight. And after that, I thought, okay, that's it, guys. You know,
That's you though. That's you. You're like, all right, we've done this now. What are we gonna do now?
And so I said to Eddie, you know, because you know I go to church on Sundays and the timing and stuff like that.
Yeah, because you're always rushing in. You're always rushing in.
Yeah,
fixing your earrings and just getting yourself settled in, and you was always rushing in.
And then there's some other things that was going on as well that in my life as well that I had to kind of deal with as well. So I was like, when they were going back, I said, I'm going to kind of miss it this time. And it just kind of evolved and moved on, and it was just, you know, I probably pop in and just kind of do, you know, a hello and stuff like that. But then it's so timely and so needed, that conversation, that space to talk, and it's just gone from strength to strength. Because
I mean, you guys opened up a lot of areas. You opened up mental health, which is something that wasn't really too spoken about, too tough. Fibroids, which I didn't really know about myself because it's not a male problem, so to speak. You know, and it was all and like mindset. You know, all of these things that I guess honest conversation. It's not something that you sort of like discuss. You're so used to talking about whether it be makeup, hair, clothing. You get me? All of these external things. That no one was really talking about the internal. I mean, it opened up Curtis a hell of a lot. I mean, definitely, and it's got to know Curtis in a different way as well, because you know that whole you meet people and you see the best of everybody, and now we're all sitting there going, wow, this thing is serious. We're on lockdown. This is something that we need to talk, and we need to talk, because I think as a community, Black people, we need bulk therapy. We need to be able to talk and be able to just, I mean, we're coming from a history. We're traumatized, constantly traumatized by death, by our history, by slavery, by the repercussions of that. And we've never really sat down and gone. Never, ever. We've never had therapy. We've never ever had therapy. I'm hurting. We can't say that. We have to kind of go, you're right. Yeah, man, we're good. Tough it up, you're fronting it. Well, we've always been a people of front, because that's why white people are so surprised that we're in such a economic state, but yet we smile. They just don't get it. Hence, that's why the Black and White Minstrel Show was born, to allow them to step out of, you know, the stiff upper lip thing kind of thing. That's right. I'm going to talk to the room now. I mean, I know you guys have been sitting there, and I understand that, as Howard said, it's too good to interrupt, because the thing is that normally they're all jumping in, and I know from the time that they're quiet, it means that they're hearing stuff they hadn't really heard before, right? And they're not just taking it as a because they know that I joke about a lot, right? But we're taking them to a different place, in other words, kind of like thing, and it is about keeping it real, so to speak, and so they've got the realness of it. But we're going to open it up for some questions, okay? Because I'm sure that you guys do have a couple of questions or places that you've seen Ange that you maybe want to ask her, and we're gonna do that for the next 10 minutes or so, all right? Because she has spoken for an hour and a half about herself. Is it? Wow. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That flew. That's what I'm saying, because I could have written a book on what you said, darling. Right, then. Right. Because that is your Howard's in Florida. We more than traumatized. We have fear medically on therapy. Okay, I hear you what you're saying, Carol. You was talking about what you were just saying earlier on. Yeah. But because your book is actually called Full Circle. Yes. Yeah. I really just kind of wanted to document my story and just be able to say, you know, nobody has to kind of go, well, what did happen there? What happened there? So I just wanted to share my story, which was really great for me, because to me, to write a book, if you'd have told me when I was young that I was going to write a book, I'd be like, or even write plays, I'd say, really? No chance, yeah. So I know that even though I wasn't great at school, it wasn't wasted, you know, because our kids are not thick, you know, they may not fit in this system like that, but don't write them off. I work a lot with kids. I've done stuff, set up my own stage school so that I could get kids and say, you might work differently, you know, and be able to share with their parents. They don't do it that way. It's okay, because I come from that too. So when I wrote my book, I wanted to document my story, and it was full circle, because I started in the church and now I'm back again, because I went back to church. And because something was missing for me, you know, after you've
drank champagne and you've done everything, and you just start to go, is that it? Is that it? It doesn't feel as though that's enough. Yeah, it doesn't feel as though that's enough. And I remember I started gardening one time, and I was just like in that space.
That's therapy, though. Gardening is therapy, because you're getting back in touch with the soil. Because we're going to go to Jamaica in a minute, where you was doing the documentary and that. But there are a few questions about the writing. I mean, when you write, how much of you appears on the page?
How much? Sorry.
How much of you appears on the page when you write?
Well, I write, the first rule of writing, they say you write what you know, and you know how you want to tell your story, because it's your story, and our stories are not out there enough where we control the narrative. So if I want to talk about brothers, you expect me to write about a certain type of black men, where I grew up knowing different types of black men. I remember we used to rave and be coming home, and guys would pull up in their cars and go, "Hey sis, are you getting home? Where you going, Lucian? You want to live?" Yeah. All of my friends pile in. We didn't even think for a minute that, oh my God, this is dangerous. We just felt protected. When I was writing the brothers, I wanted to write about brothers, the men that I know, and what got me, what was the biggest compliment for me was with brothers. When we were at Hackney Empire, there was about 5 or 6, 7 group of young kids, hooded, everything, came to the theatre, and they didn't have no money to get in, so they tried to sneak in. And the security says to me, "We've got some guys, they've said that they're here with their teachers." So I went to them and said, "What's your teacher's name?"
Teacher, yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, I can't remember the teacher's name still. You know what I mean? I can't remember the teacher's name." So I said, "So you're here as a group with your teacher, but you can't remember your teacher's name?" So I said to him, "You're sneaking in to try and get to see the play in it." You go, "We ain't got no money, man. We want to see the play. We want to see brothers, man. We ain't got no money. We ain't got no money." So I said to myself, this is the biggest compliment for me. So I think I put them in a box.
Whoa, okay.
And said, that's where you're going to watch it from.
Okay.
Because the fact that you try to sneak in,
yeah.
Because you want to watch this play and see another way. I'm just so complimented by that.
It's not like they're coming asking for a bag of weed, is it?
They're coming to sneak in to see a play. How fantastic is that?
Yeah.
And when they were walking away, the way they were walking was like, yeah. That to me was it, So I don't know. I think it's important to document your story. So when I write what I know, or I feel something and I want to say something. I want to get that out so that you don't think that we're this or you don't think that we're that. And that's
why I said you're always challenging. You're always challenging the system one way or the other, and it's from school right through till now. You're still that same person. I mean, you've written lots of plays from what Kaz has said, but what is your favorite?
You know what I would love to do right now, and it's looking like it's coming back next year, just for old time's sake, Funny Black Women on the Edge. Because when I'm doing Funny Black Women on the stage with my sisters on stage, and we are busting jokes and we are telling edgy stories, I just find that to be the place to be. If I could get stuck in the West End in a show, it would be Funny Black Women. And if that had to run like all those shows like Mamma Mia, mate, I'm laughing, because that's the show that I really, because it was my first show where I thought, I'm a writer.
Right. Okay.
No one's actually said, who wrote this? Was it a dyslexic woman?
Yeah.
No one ain't said anything, and they still keep coming. Oh, write what you know. Write what you know.
Because I think Kojo started to hit it on the head when he started to involve the footballers, the big earners. In terms of real sponsorship, to get behind stuff. And I found that that's what the likes of Richard and that generation of comedian has done exceptionally well. And I've always said it's off the shoulders of, I'm not just saying it, but it is Felix, it is Leo, it is yourself, it is Jefferson and Whitfield, it is Roger D, it is, and that's why it was so important for me to, when I started doing this, that I wanted to lay the foundation out first before I kind of started just reaching out and saying, let me grab this person, because them lot will tell you that this is organically grown. It hasn't been Like I didn't just rush out and say, right, let me get the most, you know. I kind of went, no, that's not how I want to do it. I want it to have its proper roots. So when people do start coming, everybody starts to see how this picture is formed, because we're the first generation of Black British youth who were born here. You know what I mean? And it is a case of what are we leaving behind? So the question that has arisen from Donna is, what do you actually prefer, stand-up or writing? Is it the performance, or is it the writing, or is it the directing, or is it the producing, or is it the marketing, or is it the, you know what I mean?
I like them at different stages. You know, I love writing. I love rehearsals. I love when you've written something and the actor gets it and you hear it and you go, wow. I remember when I wrote Take Me Back, there was a scene and the dialogue was amazing that I sat there and I went, did I write that?
Did you write that? Yeah.
So I had to remember what there was said so that I could go home and look at the script and go, oh my God, I actually did write that. Because what the actor did with it and the way the actor was handling the lines, I thought, did I write that? Because that's very good. So I had to check myself. So then the writing, to know that you said something in your head and it's gone on paper, and the audience, I sit in the audience and I always sit in the audience and act like it's not me and hear them. And if I don't get a oh or a oh my God.
Yeah. If you haven't evoked that response.
If I haven't got that, then it's not working for me. But I like when the audience, no, sir, no, make him do it.
No, but that's church, man. That's church, because we don't sit down in church. You participate.
It must be that. That's where it's coming from.
Don't. I mean, I went to a Church of England, so it was a culture shock when I went to a Black-led church and I see tambourine. Yeah, that's me. That's where that's exactly where I'm coming from. That's exactly where
you must have been going, oh my God, the tambourines.
Yeah, I'm like, look at this man have a bass in him, have a bit. This one on keyboards, this one on the drums and everything. And I'm thinking, oh, you know what I mean? I used to sit down in the back of my church and just blow out smoke rings. It was so cold in there. Do you know what I mean? Jeez. And then to see this warm environment, it was new to me.
And that's what I was missing. I was saying before, that's what I missed. I started to think I'm missing something in life. I got the same friends I had from Sunday school to this day. They're friends for life. You know, we made some real honest friends at Sunday school. And then you start to miss them. You start to miss.
Was that and actually another circuit that you found? Because when the promo that I ran, that you actually gave me, the promo that I ran, the joy that you get when you standing in front of there and I see you flicking your hair from one side, flicking your hair to the other side. I can't sing, but I got to sing all this year, man. I mean,
Rudy, I went home. I was at home because I remember I'd been a Christian, but I was quietly a Christian. I wasn't kind of like, everybody go to Psalms, you know, on my Facebook. It was just, I'm going to do this for myself. And then Marcia Dixon contacted me and said, you know, I just feel that God has spoken to me and said that you should do a show in the church. And I grew up in a church where that wouldn't make sense.
It wouldn't happen.
It just wouldn't happen. So I said, you sure? And anyway, that day we were doing the show and I said, God, if I'm supposed to do this, I need it to be sold out. I need it to be standing room only. I need them to gather chairs. I need people to be turned away. I need it to be that level of packed to tell me that this is what you would like me to do. So we're in the changing room with Lorene Cato, and Lorene and I grew up in Kojic. So we were just mucking about being the church sisters, hallelujah, Jesus, and doing all that stuff, having fun. And then Marcia comes into the room and she says, oh my God, because her wig was like a bit twisted up. I said, Marcia, you're all right. So she goes, oh God, it's sold out. The tickets, I've had to give some money back, and the tips, I had to turn some people away. They're bringing chairs in and putting some chairs at the front and around the side. And I went, okay, cool. Because to me, that was convention. That was what it was. You just bring in the chairs and bring in the people. So when I came out, and you seen that clip, like, wow, I'm doing stand-up in a church. My mum always said to me, you're going to do stand-up in church? You wait and see. And I'd be like, really? I don't see it, darling. I don't see it. And then here we are.
Because I remember doing stand-up in church, but I was in a prison. I was in Felton prison at the time. And because I knew who I was and what I was about, I literally put a towel over Jesus's head when he was on the cross because I thought to myself,
captive audience.
I'm like, no, he's not gonna like this. But it's amazing. It's amazing. I've done several since then. But I mean, you just transform. You adapt to the environment that you're in. That's why I constantly tell people, as a comic, you adapt. Whether it be you're doing something for Heinz, you know what I mean, or if you're doing something around the corner in a pub, or whether you're doing something like the Empire, you know, you just grow within the space that you're in.
But sometimes you just after you've played the game and you've done that, you can kind of come to a place where you think, I'm just going to be myself. I'm going to do what I really want to do, and I don't want to feel awkward. I don't want to feel like, oh, what's going on here? I just want to do what I want to do. I'm a big woman.
But you've reached that point where people want you.
Yeah, I would hope so. That would be, if you get here and you don't have that, something's wrong.
Well, then something's wrong, because I think the way that you've when we look back, and the way that you've brought the audience with you, do you get me? From podium, you get me? From they've gone to podium, we're talking about the ravers and that, to go onto the radio, they're hearing you now in their cars, in their houses, and what have you. You know, Get Up, Stand Up, back on TV now, Real McCoy on TV now. Do you get me? Choice FM, theaters. You know, they've been able to follow you, and then out onto the internet as well. They've been able to see you. So people have watched you grow, Ange.
I've got some loyal fans that go over 30 years, and they just, Angie, where's the show? Let us know, we'll be there. And that is just a love that you can't buy. You earn that, and all you want to do with that audience is deliver, so that when they do come out, you know, when I took Take Me Back to the West End on a Monday night, they were there, sold out. You know, this was a great time, and they never let me down. So if they don't let me down, I can't let them down, because I get that they're growing with me, and I'm growing, and I need them to be there, and I want to make sure that when they get something, they go, oh, this was worth a night out, dressed up, have a good time. I'll always do theatre.
But do you think it was advantageous that you were the first to be going out there, as opposed to following someone? Because who I mean, Sheila Hyde was the only other alternative, but we know that she was middle class, very middle class, totally different marketplace. Yeah. So I mean, other than Felicity, who else was there? I mean,
I think at the time you're going to have an advantage when you're first, because you haven't got no one to compare it to. So you're going to just get on and do it. And when you're doing it in those places, in the club, no one says, oh, the other one that did that. So you haven't failed. You just started something, you know. And it's only when it starts to build, and you start to, other comics start to come on board, it starts to grow up. New comics come, you start to go, oh, we kind of you can slowly start put some women on the bill now, because honestly, Rudy, I was on all the bills. I was on all the bills, and sometimes I'd be like, I'm on all the bills as the woman for a long time, and I got paid, you know. I got paid, and sometimes when some promoters didn't want to pay me, I said, well, if you don't pay me the money, I'm not going to go out there, because I know those ladies are going to be very disappointed. So you better give me my money.
See.
And they go, oh, gosh, this is difficult.
It had to be, man. I mean, Glenda's had some really tough battles, and Muriel has had some tough battles.
It's hard. It's hard.
It's there. There's a question coming in from there. There's a joke that Angie told years ago. I think it was Hackney Empire, that stayed with me. I have used for years as an example. Is the guy driving the rundown Punto, guy in a brand new Mercedes, and young ting at the bus stop. Does Angie remember it?
Yes, yeah. It's the guy in the that is his house. So the guy that's driving the old rundown car, who stops to give you a lift, you don't want to go nowhere with him. He's going to work. But the guy that pulls up in the Mercedes, that is his house.
I remember that. I remember that. I remember that.
A 35-year-old joke. I feel very proud that you remembered that.
Well, boy, if you can get a joke that can last, I mean, Jefferson and Whitfield says a well-crafted joke will always do you well.
Yeah. And you can always go. You go
joke.
to. I'll be dying on stage and go. You know what? I'm going to go to this classics.
Yeah.
Get the classics.
I've been in the barrel, man. Yeah. But it's amazing though. Like you said, you reach a point where you just get up and you just say. You just talk. You just start talking, and then your mouth just goes, and then the next thing you know, oh, is that half an hour? Okay.
Yeah. Remember the first you couldn't do 10 minutes. Now you're like, oh, get off the stage. I mean, when I did the West End show,
yeah.
If you go over the West End, it's like $5,000. That theatre at that time was 5,000 if you just go over 5 minutes. Right. And I remember I was so excited to be in Shaftesbury Avenue. I was like going, and I was thinking, it's just a great night. I could stay here all night. And I looked at my friend Sade, and Sade was bringing down the curtain. The curtains were coming down. I was like this. Okay, thanks very much. Good night. Yeah.
Gotta go.
You got $5,000? I'm like, you did your best, girl. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Well, Ange, I got to say thank you very much. Thank you very much for jumping on. Really appreciate this.
Thank you.
No, thank you, man. Thank you.
No, it's nice. It's nice when you celebration, International Women's Day, and you felt to celebrate me. I appreciate that. That's special because we go back. We go back long, and it's nice.
Yeah, we do go back long. Still got Angie's video when she played Manchester. Same era as you, Rudy. Fantastic. Oh, thanks, bro. I hear that.
Oh.
I appreciate that. So, guys, if you want to say your goodbyes to Angie, now is the time.
Thank you.
Nice one, Mark. Now is the time to say your goodbyes, because I know that a lot of people are going to catch this on the catch up. That's how it works, man. It's a funny tool. This.
It's there in stone. Thank you.
It's a funny tool. Wicked Show says Carl. Carl is based in Newport, out there in Wales. Thanks, Carl. June, brilliant show. Fabulous, thank you, says Natasha. Donna says, where did it go? Donna is saying, great show, phenomenal woman. I take my hat off to you, Miss Angie Lamar.
I'm going to be touring next year. Next year, I plan to.
You're going to tour, yeah?
Yeah, man. I want to get back on the circuit. So much to say right now. I just want to get that mic.
Okay. Me. I don't know. You know what? I really want to go into producing and directing now. I think I'm ready for that.
Good.
Manners and respect, Queen Bee, Karen from Kaz. Kaz is another free spirit. She's one of those people who, you know what I mean? When COVID was on, she was on a plane.
God.
She's like, I'm doing my thing. Nothing ain't going to stop me. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go there. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go there. You lot could stay lock up if you have to lock up, but me, I'm going, and off she went, and she's recently come back. Recently come back. Excellent shows, Karen from Sharon. Fantastic show.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing, Angie. I got a funny story about Angie. No one wants to hear it. No, that's how I talk to them. Forgive me. They rough me up. You don't know, man. Sometimes the Friday mornings can be hard work when they're ready. Love you, long time, Queen Angie. Blessings and love. Well, blessings and love to you all. Okay. Thanks for popping in. I look forward to seeing you guys next week, where I will have Devon Morgan in the house.
Oh, Devon.
Yeah, Devon. That's what I'm saying. I'm going through the roots first. I'm going through the roots first. Let them get the history first, and then we'll climb up the tree. Donna can't wait for the tour. Take Rudy with you. She won't take me with her.
Why not?
You know you're looking to bring him in. No. You know what? What happens? What I found to happen with me, even when it came to Lenny Henry, was that it was like, no, you ain't going up before me, bro. You ain't. Me and Lenny was in where were we? Hammersmith, Apollo. And I was down to do the warm up for him. This was my early days, and you know, like you would go into the green room, you got your apples, you got all your fruit and everything there. You see your name on the door, and I'm thinking, raw, I reach, man, I reach, man, I reach. and then he just went to me, you ain't going before me. I'll tell you what you do. You go on after me. That's what you do. You go on after me. And I sat down and I watched his show, right? And after that, that's when he gave me loads of work to do in the BBC, doing warm-ups. I did a load of TV warm-ups around that time. And then I think I buck up on him about 15, 16 years later. I go, do you remember who I am? He goes, yeah. He goes, how do you reckon you got all that work in the BBC? How do you reckon you got... Yeah, I goes, but I didn't want all that work in the BBC. I wanted to go on before you. He goes, I know you did.
But I got you working the BBC, so satisfying.
I was like, okay.
See that warm up before you? I remember I was doing my 50ish and still standing, and I got Travis to warm up.
Okay.
And Travis went out and he was smashing it. Like, that's
what I'm saying. That's what
I'm talking about, heat smashing. When I was actually,
that's what I'm saying.
I was backstage going, all right, calm down. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm your mum. I can walk out there and go, get off. Come off the stage. And then he came off and he was like, oh, mum, it's a good crowd out there. And I went, yeah.
You left any laughing for me, son? Have you left taking all the juice out of the room?
It was a struggle because part of me was part proud and part annoyed. So it's like,
of course. But that's the whole point, man. That's the thing. But the more I'm learning, it's more about collaboration and working together than it is about competing against one another, you know. And we're low. We are lone spirits, because stand-up is a lonely thing. You know what I mean? The driving up and down the motorway is a lonely thing, which people don't really see, you know. They just see us up in front of all these crowds and what have you. And it was really nice of you to share those moments, you know, where it was hard work, where the kids were in the back of the car, where you were striving, where you were unsure, because all we know of is the cocksure, I ain't done nothing wrong, I'm going in the right direction where I want to go, nothing ain't, you know what I mean? And you showed them that it's a real struggle to get to where you got to. I mean,
I don't think everything's always been up. There's been some dark days, there's been some sad days, there's been some depression, there's been some lack of confidence where you think, is it over? Is it my time? You know, the next lot is coming up and going there. You think, I'm kind of finished in it. And then you think, sorry. And you go and write a play. You go to, you try other things. And I was tired of the road. The road is very tiring.
Yes, darling, it can get tiring.
It's tiring. So and then you go, right, okay. Somebody phones up and says, can you do Ipswich tonight? And you're like,
you know, that's 2.5, 3 hours. You know, that's what you, because that's 6 hours. That's not 2, 3. That's 6 hours. That's there and that's back.
Yeah. And so I got to say to my husband, I say, Dave, I got to go to Ipswich. So I'd phone him. He'd be at work. I say, Dave, when you got to come home early because I got to go to Ipswich. And he'd be like, what? I've got to go to Ipswich. Yeah, but you're going to Bedford tomorrow. I go, I know, right?
Yeah.
And that road life is like, you know, sometimes my kids weren't going to school the next day. It's like they came home and I look at them and feel I can't even wake them up to go to school. But, you know, I'm not complaining. It
is a weird one. It is a weird one because I remember saying to myself, I can't wait until I'm touring and blah, 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 blah. But like you said, when you do start touring, what you really see is the motorway. Yeah. That's what you really see. You see more of the motorway than you see of anything else. But the thing is, though, once you do hit the stage, I used to moan. I used to cuss. I'd be cussing, going up here. But the moment I got on the stage, I was like, oh, this is why I do it.
That's why.
I'm like, this is why I do it. Okay, now I get it. Now I miss it.
And now I miss it. Now I think I just want to go back on that road again and just go right and get that mic and go, I was thinking about this today and I want to share this with you because guess what? So I'm getting down the gym, getting myself fit because you know you got to be fit and just keep it.
Well, I have put on a few pounds. I'm not going to lie.
Did we all? I didn't stand up, Lord.
Thank you.
That's what I like
Right,
about it.
let me call this to a close, or we were just chatting.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
I think we've saved some for another time because we haven't spoken about the documentary, you being out in Jamaica, and the stuff that you're doing out there, right? Which are none of no business, see? None of no business, right?
Part two.
So there'll definitely be a part 2, and I hope we can get you on the Anything Goes podcast at some point, which is basically just dilemmas and how would Angie Lamar deal with it as a panel. Because I remember when I mentioned it to you, it's like, nah. It's like, nah.
No, but I'm straight though, isn't it? I don't go.
No, you didn't mess me about. You told me straight.
I tell people straight. I just go.
You
Because actually, it's not good. I just know where I am in the next couple of 6 months all for it. And I think, nah, I don't have the time. I can't even pretend.
Yeah. So that's cool. But hopefully we will get to see you on that because it would be great. It would be great to have you. Yeah.
Right, so now, right?
People, I'm gonna let Angie go now. So
yeah, thank you.
We're not gonna hold on to her any longer, okay?
See you later.
So thanks for joining us, Ange. Right, she's off now. Held there for as long as I could, peeps. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like I said, tune into next week. Next week we will have Devon Morgan, playwright, producer, director, facilitator, role model. What more can I tell you about him, man? I think I should let him tell you, really. Don't you think so? I think I should let him tell you. So thanks for tuning in. My name's Rudy Liquid, and hopefully we'll meet up again. Thanks for your time.
You can do that with films. I mean, films are a lot easier than theatre. Right. Film and television a whole lot easier than theatre. I think you mentioned that. I did a play once called Johnny Dollar. It was a reggae musical. And I used like the Olivier, Sylvia Keller, Poyen Adekareli, Winsome, Neville Morrison, Winston Reedy, the whole of the Lovers Rock singers. They never act before. Everybody was scared, but because of musical, they said, no, I need them for the music. And they can tell you, man, once them late into the play, you know, it was one of the best play. You know, when them late into the play, the acting, Peter O'Neill, wow, he can tell you, stunning performance.
It's time to spice up your food with One Shot Marinade, the authentic Caribbean seasoning.
What did you have to do?
It was essentially the male equivalent of a female beauty competition. Thousands came, you know, for the final.
I'd be up for it for a laugh.
Peter, you're silent.
You can't enter. You can't enter.
Shut your mouth. I don't want to enter. I don't need
You can't even see your feet when you look down to her.
Wow.
Time. Red card.
I must say, first of all, those who are on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to YouTube, our Anything Goes YouTube podcast. Then when we go live, you get the notification.
This time, you're going to scare everybody.
It's a warning.
It was a cassette. You know when you have to put the pencil into the hole. Yes, man.
To submit to you as a man or a woman, or do I continue to walk the righteous path and serve God? That's a personal, individual choice of a human being.
well, straight away that's, you know, red flag. You know, BAME community, why are we the guinea pigs now?
I feel like when you are speaking up for yourself, it should be unapologetic and it should be honest. I think that we all have...
So, for example, the West Indian community, there are many reasons why they may not, and you can probably tell me more than I know, but I think part of it is that they're being asked to trust the same structures that have also contributed to their discrimination, their abuse, their trauma.
Race, you know, and I'm just thinking, well, there's more than that. I know just having no dad and having to work out what it means to be a black man in the UK was a very, very difficult.
You know, and if you ain't got enough to do it in your family, get 2 or 3 families together and start a business. You know, we've got to be thinking like that now, because unemployment is going to be rife throughout our community now. Right?
She's saying pie, that means that 8:15 is gone, man. He's gone, man.
15 minutes with Rudy Liquid and DJ Countryman.
I'd like you to say who you think Junior would more than likely want to do a duet with.
Oh. Right here is the power. You really wanna know?
Whitney.
Yeah.
I think Aretha.
Yeah.
Who you going for, country?
Anyone we're out here.
He's going with Althea. You want to reveal? And wait, hold on. Yeah, all right. Yeah. Go.
Great. Sade, I knew way back in the day. Whitney was somebody again who I really like. If I ever had the chance, unfortunately, I'll never get that chance. But it would have been Aretha.
I told you.
It would have been Aretha.
No. That was a very important.
Well done, Althea. Well done.
Saturday mornings, gonna be the same again.
Incredible.
We love looking after young people and just basically helping them in their football development. The academies look after all the senior kids, all the elite kids, and we look after everyone else.
This is what gives me the most joy, watching them not being able to kick a ball, and then 6 months later they're able to do things they never envisioned them doing.
A lot of people are focused on the footballer, and then when the talent doesn't manifest in the way that the coach may like it, goodbye.
It's giving back to the community. I've been working for the community all my life, and this is a big part of it. Giving back.
Do not forget to subscribe, especially if you're on YouTube. Make sure that you subscribe. Subscribe, hit the button, subscribe, hit the button.
Tell me, who designs your clothes for you? Alright, tell us now, what do you do, baby?
Well, I'm actually unemployed, but you can see how far the Black Channel 4 will go just to find out what I'm doing.